GYOKERES. Does that happen?
This is interesting developments today. We're told that Manchester United have made initial approaches over the Sporting striker Victor GYOKERES, but it's via intermediaries. So it should be stated here, it isn't club-to-club contact yet. It's one of those situations where they will approach intermediaries to try and explore the conditions of a particular deal.
Is that normal?
Yeah, these things can happen between clubs. If a player has been told, yes, we will allow you to leave provided the price is right, there's no point wasting time. It's almost the unwritten rule of see if you can sort out a club, and then the two clubs will come together and try and sort out a price. There's no point spending weeks and weeks, clubs trying to sort out a fee, finally getting it over the line and then say, come on then, oh no, I don't fancy going. Yeah. And all of that will have been for nothing. So there has to be some sort of encouragement that the player would want to go. We do know that the head coach, Ruben Amorim, is a huge admirer of Victor GYOKERES. He played under Amorim at Sporting, played fantastically well under Amorim, continued to play fantastically well last season as well. And it should also be said here that United are in the market for a striker regardless of what happens with Rasmus Højlund. We did tell you last week that there has been some interest, particularly from Italy, where his stock is still quite high because he came from Atalanta, was highly rated when United took a punt on him. Inter Milan, we think, are interested. They were just waiting for Christian Kivu to be appointed.
Is HUGO EKITIKE the striker Manchester United really need? The summer transfer window hasn't even opened yet, but Manchester United fans are already buzzing with excitement. Because the Red Devils have reportedly set their sights on a new striker who could change everything at Old Trafford. His name is HUGO EKITIKE, and according to some experts, he might be an even better choice than the highly rated Victor GYOKERES. But is this 22-year-old French striker really worth the massive £85 million price tag? And more importantly, could he finally solve United's goal-scoring problems that have plagued the team for far too long? The striker problem that won't go away. Let's be honest here. Manchester United's attack has been struggling for quite some time now. Last season was particularly painful to watch. Joshua Zirkzee and Rasmus Højlund, who were supposed to be the future of United's attack, managed to score just 7 goals between them in the Premier League. 7 goals. From 2 strikers. Over an entire season. That's not just disappointing, it's alarming. When your main strikers can't find the back of the net regularly, you know there's a serious problem that needs fixing. Ruben Amorim's side ended up with one of their worst ever domestic finishes, and it's clear that the lack of goals played a huge part in that failure. So what's the solution? United have been busy in the transfer market, already securing Matheus Cunha for £62.5 million after triggering his release clause. They've also shown interest in MBEUMO. But now, a new name has emerged that could be the answer to all their problems. Who exactly is HUGO EKITIKE? HUGO EKITIKE isn't just another young striker trying to make a name for himself. This 22-year-old Frenchman has been turning heads at Eintracht Frankfurt with performances that have scouts from top clubs across Europe taking notice. What makes EKITIKE special? Well, for starters, he's been described by Bild's Eintracht Frankfurt reporter Johannes Wolf as one of the best strikers available in the transfer market this summer. That's quite a statement, especially when you consider the other big names being linked with moves. EKITIKE has been putting up impressive numbers for Frankfurt in almost every competition they've played in. His pace, finishing ability, and overall understanding of the game have made him a standout performer in the Bundesliga. At just 22 years old, he's already showing the kind of maturity and consistency that clubs like Manchester United are desperately looking for. But here's what's really interesting. Experts are saying he might actually be a better option than Victor GYOKERES, who has been Manchester United's top target for months. The great debate, EKITIKE versus GYOKERES. This is where things get really interesting. Victor GYOKERES has been the talk of the town when it comes to potential Manchester United signings. The Swedish striker has been absolutely phenomenal at Sporting CP, scoring goals for fun and catching the attention of every major club in Europe. But now, some experts are suggesting that HUGO EKITIKE might actually be the better choice. Why would anyone think that? According to Johannes Wolf, who knows the German football scene inside and out, EKITIKE is simply a better striker than many people realize. He even went as far as to say that EKITIKE is a better player than Randal Kolo Muani was when he moved to PSG for €95 million. That's a bold statement, but it's based on watching both players closely. Wolf points out that when Omar Marmush moved to Manchester City for €82 million at the age of 22, he was playing in the second division in Germany. EKITIKE, on the other hand, is the same age but has already proven himself at the highest level with Frankfurt in multiple competitions. So what makes EKITIKE potentially better than GYOKERES? It comes down to several factors. First, there are some question marks over GYOKERES that don't exist with EKITIKE. While GYOKERES has been scoring freely in Portugal, some scouts wonder how well his style of play would translate to the Premier League. EKITIKE, on the other hand, has been performing consistently in the Bundesliga, which is widely considered one of the most competitive leagues in the world. His style of play seems more suited to the fast-paced, physical nature of English football. The money talk: is €85 million worth it? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the price. Eintracht Frankfurt are reportedly asking for around £85 million for EKITIKE. That's a lot of money, even for a club like Manchester United. But is it worth it? Well, let's put it in perspective. Manchester City just paid £82 million for Marmush, who was playing in Germany's second division just a few years ago. Liverpool and Chelsea have also been linked with big money moves for strikers this summer. In today's transfer market, quality strikers don't come cheap. When you're buying potential, proven performance, and someone who could be your main striker for the next decade, £85 million might actually be reasonable. Frankfurt know they have a special player on their hands. They've seen how much money clubs are willing to pay for top strikers, and they're not about to let EKITIKE go for anything less than what they think he's worth. Johannes Wolf explained Frankfurt's thinking perfectly. They did it with the Randal Kolo Muani transfer, and no one expected them to go so hard on PSG until the last second. The understanding within the business is EKITIKE is a better striker than Kolo Muani was, and if he got you €95 million, they're trying to get the €100 million. The competition is heating up. Manchester United aren't the only club interested in EKITIKE. According to Sky Sports Germany, Liverpool and Chelsea are also in the race for his signature. This creates an interesting situation for United. On one hand, competition from other top clubs shows that EKITIKE is indeed a special talent. You don't get Liverpool and Chelsea interested unless you're doing something right. On the other hand, it means United might have to act quickly if they want to secure his services. Liverpool have reportedly held concrete talks with EKITIKE already. Chelsea, with their new ownership and willingness to spend big, could also make a serious move. This puts pressure on United to make their intentions clear sooner rather than later. The good news for United is that they have a strong pull for young players. The chance to play at Old Trafford, work with Ruben Amorim, and be part of a rebuilding project could be very appealing to a 22-year-old striker looking to take the next step in his career. What this means for other United targets? If United do decide to go all in for EKITIKE, what happens to their other striker targets? Victor GYOKERES has been heavily linked with a move to Old Trafford, but recent reports suggest United might be giving up on him to focus on EKITIKE instead. This shift in strategy makes sense when you consider the pros and cons of each player. GYOKERES is proven, but he's also going to cost a fortune and might not adapt as well to English football. EKITIKE is younger, potentially more adaptable, and according to some experts, simply a better player. MBEUMO is another name that's been mentioned, but he's more of a backup option compared to EKITIKE. If United can land the Frankfurt striker, they might not need to pursue other attacking options as aggressively. The Ruben Amorim factor. One thing that's worth considering is how EKITIKE would fit into Ruben Amorim's system. Amorim has a very specific way of playing, and he needs strikers who can adapt to his tactical demands. The good news is that EKITIKE's style of play seems well suited to what Amorim wants. He's mobile, can press from the front, and has the technical ability to link up play with his teammates. These are all qualities that Amorim values highly in his strikers. Amorim has also shown that he can develop young players and get the best out of them. His work with strikers at Sporting CP proves that he knows how to maximize a player's potential. If he can do the same with EKITIKE, United could have a world-class striker on their hands for years to come. What United fans should expect. So what should Manchester United fans expect from this potential transfer? Well, first, they should expect a long negotiation process. Frankfurt aren't going to make this easy, and with other clubs interested, United will need to be patient and persistent. If the deal does go through, fans should expect to see a striker who can make an immediate impact. EKITIKE isn't a project player who needs years to develop. He's already performing at a high level and should be able to step into United's team right away. The French striker would bring pace, power, and clinical finishing to United's attack. His ability to score different types of goals, headers, tap-ins, long-range efforts, would give United the variety they've been missing in their attack. Most importantly, EKITIKE would give United a striker they can build around for the future. At 22, he's entering his prime years and could be United's main striker for the next decade if everything goes according to plan. The transfer window timeline. With the transfer window set to reopen on Monday, June 16th, the timing of this potential move is crucial. United will want to get their business done early so that new signings can integrate with the team during pre-season. The next few weeks will be crucial in determining whether this transfer happens. United will need to make a concrete offer, convince EKITIKE that Old Trafford is the right place for him, and beat off competition from Liverpool and Chelsea. If they can pull it off, it could be the signing that transforms their attack and gets them back to competing at the highest level. Final thoughts. The right move at the right time? So, is HUGO EKITIKE the answer to Manchester United's striker problems? Based on the evidence available, it certainly looks like he could be. At 22, he's young enough to develop further but experienced enough to make an immediate impact. His performances in the Bundesliga show that he can handle the pressure of playing for a big club in a competitive league. The fact that experts rate him higher than Victor GYOKERES suggests that United might be getting the better deal. The £85 million price tag is steep, but in today's market, that's what quality costs. If EKITIKE can provide United with 20 to 25 goals per season for the next few years, the investment will more than pay for itself. The real question isn't whether EKITIKE is good enough for United, it's whether United can convince him to choose Old Trafford over other options. With Liverpool and Chelsea also in the race, United will need to make a compelling case for why he should join their rebuilding project. One thing is certain, Manchester United need to solve their striker problem, and HUGO EKITIKE looks like he could be the perfect solution. The next few weeks will determine whether this potential transfer becomes reality, but early signs suggest it could be exactly what United need to get back to where they belong. The transfer window is about to open, and Manchester United fans have every reason to be excited about what could be coming their way.